makeup! That is not a burn, that's makeup. Okay. What's the color? Dreamy. From Miss Brett's face. Really? I don't know. Oh jeez, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. This is a moment of truth. Time to find some evidence that proves what the burn really meant. Selden defense will now present its evidence to the court. Okay, demonstrate the burn mark is it's been gunshot through the chest. Aha! Okay. Alright. Okay, this might work. Present it with this. The victim is clearly related to the piece of the court record. Then explain to the court in 5 words or less what the nature of this connection is. Well, it's obviously, thank you. Oh, fudge me! As I suspected, the rookie student is bluffing. Dang it! Okay. You've been burned there yourself, sorry. Look through the court record again. Carefully this time. Okay. Okay. Okay, wait a minute, yeah. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. How can that be? Okay. Single bullet fired from close range, fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma, no exit wound. The bullet did not pass through the body, there's no exit wound. This has to be it.
Yes. Objection!
Dang it! Oh, frick me! Ugh. Okay, so it wasn't that. Okay, the burn. Okay. Okay, check this out. Ah, yes, this. It's this thing. Yes, okay, he got burned on that because it was a steak. Yes, present this. Yes. Was this counsel another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe this photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things may be overlooked at times of recording it forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie, what are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would mean to be inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, this is clearly visible on the other photograph. How did the victim come across an unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. Quote the Raven, nevermore. What? How? You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If this is your game, then let's play it out. Show the court what you mean. For the reason the victim's burn. Okay. Right there. Yes. The beefsteak? Actually, it's a point of the metal plate that was served on the plate. Ah! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess that it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Ah! The emblem on the plate. How did he get that burn? In the victim's burn. Are exactly the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on! Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Got him! Even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have happened the day before, or the day before that. It was likely have an unrelated time. Well, sadly, Prosecutor Ayuchi, the chances that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion at the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But I would say, looking at the picture of the wound that it suffered wasn't very long ago. And although it is not particularly a large burn, but it's extremely well defined as the defense just pointed out. That was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, Celsius, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It is inconceivable that the victim wouldn't let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, and I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter at La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There is no question of that. And yet the Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream on that day. Not on that day, or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, that on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on a plate for anything other than 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. To the rest of us in the restaurant, myself and the sergeant and the antique dealers, all of us would, without a question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ayuchi? Yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think? Yes, I do think he was He was definitely killed before he touched the plate. Can it really be true? I never dreamt we arrived at such a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led to a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of that makes sense on this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead. When he was asleep, he would have been able to wake up. Yeah, he would have woke up and felt the pain. He would have felt the pain and then woke up instantly. He was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's well, apart from in one part in a particular situation. Castle, are you suggesting? Yes, it is only possible. The man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it is the only possible explanation. Well, when the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Got him! Order, please, counsel! Explain yourself with this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This was just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly has no grasp of the facts. No, Prosecutor Ayuichi, it is you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered a burn while at the restaurant, this whole case would have turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If this is true, then as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard. It is highly likely that Miss Britt knows something. Yeah, you're getting somewhere now. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between our countries and yours. Miss Brett? You speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones. Just freaking get her out! That's insulting to Japan, but it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall now have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Well, you're the epithet of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration of your graciousness toward us. I see. In that case, Miss Brent, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events that leading up to the death of Dr. Wilson. Oh, jeez. So we finally got her. So we're finally going to hear her own words on this matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryanosuke. Huh. Witness testimony. Unfortunately, I have no idea when that poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I heard, the postmortem report showed no possible cause of death besides a gunshot. If there's other ways of man's life to be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. He's been poisoned. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick it up anyway. That's the most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that's the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of becoming an unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I hope I haven't insulted anyone. Yes, he did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It seems very clear in the testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Ministry of Justice about what happened here today. Maybe that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? Was that a prayer? Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brent, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you to notice that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. Okay. Sure, I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with the witness's testimony, I will be ruling in case. Is that clear? He's psyching himself out. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay, cross-examination time. Okay. Unfortunately, I have no idea when that poor man's hurt was wrist like that. Okay. When the waiter brought my steak, and the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. Question that. As you testified before, you were drinking a carbonated water, is that correct? Dr. Wilson only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although, whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that. Darn you! I have had enough English to understand that. But for the benefit of others in the court, I mean bless you. I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. Okay. We got her to say darn you. Which means you're getting close to something. Pressure on that.
Yes.
Yes, it is written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from a ballistic trauma. Yes, luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And there's no sign of trauma, but the victim's fighting indicates a cause of death. It has only been a bullet from your gun that pulled into the man's life. But that doesn't make sense. The burn must have came straight away when the plate was brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. Even and if the victim's wrist was on a hot plate as soon as brought out to the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point. And yet, the fact remains that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. To this leaving a trace, then please do show me. Question her on that. Well, without leaving a trace, if someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however the person's life is taken, there's always a telltale sound on the body. Right there, my dear lady, and as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, isn't that right, Inspector Hosanaga? As I have said, I've always aimed for a flawless investigation. There will be physical traces with all those deaths or deaths of cause, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're gonna have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence in question. I would cut you down if anyone did. Grace. We need some evidence to back it up here. Yes, evidence. Like, he was definitely poisoned. Okay, E. Okay, I think I'm onto something now. Okay. Let's see. Gunshot in the head, the bullet did not pass. Wait a minute, loss from a gunshot to the chest, the bullet did not pass through the victim's body. There was no exit wound. Well, I did save it beforehand. Yes. No, darn it! Okay. Okay, present. Front of the chest subsequently died. Why was this glass inside your purse? Okay, present this. Yeah, why was there a glass inside your purse? If you didn't do anything wrong, you would not have a glass inside your purse. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's try this out again. Okay. Okay. Huh. Come on. It's impossible to imagine not being able to feel pain, though. That's it. It's a cautionary note. That's it. He was still under anesthesia. That's it. He was under anesthesia and he wouldn't be able to feel pain.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Question her on that. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the British Empire, the police store everything they found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you must investigate once. And that's the end of it. Is that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today. Just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes...
Wait.
Why does he have that? It doesn't even occur that you're naive detectives trying to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be tactful about this as I can, you understand? Oh, the killer blow of the lady's formidable as she is beautiful. She's actually meaning our police may be flawed. Perhaps prosecuting Ayuchi's starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Britt just said. The moment before, when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly, no matter how much I press her. I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony. Or her cross-examination will be over, but then that would mean either way. There must be some clue somewhere there to help us with a chink in her armor. Kazuma? What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that has been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean? About Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes. He seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I wonder if it might be significant. If I might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see if we can get out the detective. Alright then, I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Yeah, if I find out soon enough, I suppose, I shall press Miss Britt one more time. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Wait a minute, my stream got disconnected, did it? Oh, give me a sec. Okay, it is no wonder that I'm not getting anyone in chat. I didn't know that my stream got disconnected. Oh, fudge me. Yeah, my stream got disconnected. Fudge. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. How long was the stream for? 17 minutes? Okay, my stream got disconnected. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. There we go. Alright. Press her on that. Inferior? What do you mean by that? Oh, wait a minute, I can select a detective? Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they are usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they are listening to someone else speak, they'll often let their guard down. You're right, look at him, he's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue this man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? And how would you do that, Ryunosuke? All I have to do is with a witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who is the person actually in the current statement. By now, moving the marker left and right with A and D, you can turn your attention to the people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. If you can catch a person at just the right time, you might just uncover some new information to pursue. You notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand. Take a good look around. Alright then, I shall move the marker across with A and D, and focus on the detective, and pursue him with space. Let's see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
Okay. 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 Pursue him.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts deeply. It looks like you were thinking of something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard that the ladies next to you just had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court. What's the meaning of this? It is a delightful English's moments who's testifying at the moment. You can't find fault with their testimony. The cross-examination's over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, and not to mention that he is intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I saw Taru Hanaga always tried to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see? I don't care to call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this for an example. Oh, is that? Here's a bottle of carbonated water that I took from the victim's table in the day in question. Yes, it lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there is something left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept this bottle as evidence. Carbonated. Oh, now we got you. Miss Brett? Can you confirm that this is indeed a bottle which you drank on the day of the victim's death? She didn't drink. Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel, you may resume. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, we got you. I can't find anything out of place. Oh, wait a minute. This carbonated water is the last drink that Dr. Wilson had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amuse me, Inosuke. In more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think it might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. It might be expensive water. But what does it say? That's what I'm asking. Then go to France and ask. You know, just don't know. Okay. I think I have an idea. R on this. Yes! Yes, he got poisoned. What's this? The bottle of water. Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I am referring to poison. Poison? On that day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor was actually died after taking a sip from this glass? And that's why that she had to put it in her purse? And on that day, he was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink. And there's only one person who could have done it. Jezebel Brent. It was you! That's outrageous to suggest the thing without a scrap of evidence. You rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we only signed an accord friendship with the British Empire? Have you even a vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We're here to determine the truth. Ahem. If I may, I will silence you for... It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. What are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whatever it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison or any description of the carbonated bottle, Your Majesty. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No! Dang it! I am very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrific affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place. if he was poisoned. Hark. Thank you, Counsel. The immediate cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, the shot from the chest was from the skin is the only consumable form of death. Furthermore, the accused who has built his own admission was holding the weapon is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Okay. Yes. Yes, we do. Kazuma. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Oh, please wait. Isn't that? What's the meaning of this? Forgive me for the intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, now with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carries a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Ah, oh, come on! Yeah, see the progress. Okay. Courtroom 2. Well, I understand that you are a judicial assistant to the defense. But why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant and a woman, no less. The rules state females are not permitted into the court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I only asked 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. You're a little late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes? I will not allow a moment more. Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please accept this for now. What is it, a report about something? Written in English. It's Jezebel Brett's research. The Englishwoman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Velson's laboratory in a medical facility and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on the human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? I never heard the word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands an immediate removal of the female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read in detail, but I summarized what I could in a note inside the cover. I think it could be valuable. Please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Jezebel's report has been added into the court record. Goodbye then. and good luck. You have a long enough, Council. We cannot detain the English guests. I asked the prosecution and the defense that one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but the prosecution has made the case convincingly enough, Your Honor. There's nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyieldy stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brent? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It is a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brent. It seems I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Council. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, and it would be this. Okay. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death even in minute doses. Above the mention occurred when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to his inability to render the human body paralytic, it is believed that the toxin couldn't have application as an anesthesic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest occurs as a result of a full body paralysis must be found first, or patients die of suffocation. Present this! Yes. Miss Jezebel Brand, we understand that you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yumi University doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. Poison? Where are you going with this, Council? A toxin known as QRA, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete utter nonsense! QRA, you say? I never heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of QRA before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never identify the QRA. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order! Order! Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, QRA has long been used by tribespeople from South America as a poison laced to their arrows. It seems that's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with QRA suffers instant death. Doesn't that something about Miss Brent? Objection! Some trumpery. These assertions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some called poison, he would have been squirming, really in pain. Other diners would surely have noticed. Nope. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it is the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress. The evidence that QRA was used. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, a victim would lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there will be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all his strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects would largely go unnoticed. I didn't follow Kasuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison causes death. That's where the gunshot comes in. It's extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe that it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration meaning the lungs. In other words, the cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware of unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into the endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly QRA poison. So you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains a terrifying poison? This is very convenient, isn't it? The Hidoriko unknown poison for which there is no means of testing with a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All the facts that you're thinking are so clever. It's you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? Steal another honest, hard work, and then announce the result as if you discovered him. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brent, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on an unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for his heinous crime. That is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I for once refuse to accept it. The idea that some poison that doesn't exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Britt? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Oh, well, yes. I don't see, why not? Oh, she's actually gonna do it. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, the whole affair is farcical comedy. Your little police games, the foolish courtroom antics, is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of this all. Games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for the shady affair. Yeah. Yes, whatever is the matter. You all look quite stunned. So, no QRA. The bottle was clean. Is what you're saying? Haha. You look quite a courteous little boy, but of course. That's the truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so consistently here in this grand venue. Most kind. Urgh. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency? Yes, Miss Brett? I should like to be excused now, please. I had given more than my time. Further hindrance in the friendship of our countries. Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified of your assistance to be given. This doesn't make sense. There would have to be poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow the whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. I suppose if nothing else, it's a little far east of Sharad. It'll make up for an interesting conversation party and attend in London. There has to have been some poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But it can't have been, otherwise she would have been killed over dead. It has to contain poison. It truly has to be poison. Contains poison. The fizz, as she said, that there was no fizz in the water. Contains poison. The culprit did put Kira poison in Doctor's carbonated water. I, the defense, refused to change his position. Fool, are you blind? There's a possibility. Miss Brett was drinking the water from it? Which rather complicates your argument, I think. I believe that the complication can be explained. How, exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer in the evidence is in the evidence. We just had a court record. It has to be. Okay, it has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witnesses was able to consume this poison water unscathed? Aha! She used the wrong glass. She used the wrong glass. Of course.
Yes.
Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Okay, let's try this out again. Okay. Okay, hunter is prey. Instant paralysis, above the mentioned effect. It occurs through the body with a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render The human body paralytic is believed that the toxin could have applications for an anesthesiac. Wait a minute. The dental report. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Oh, fudge. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, we tried that. Okay. Okay. Um. Oh.
Yes.
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research. That's not a valid explanation, no? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. You impudent little scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Majesty. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading his two Santano's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered an entry by the court. You will direct us to the Permanent Section Council, which section reveals the alleged answer to this riddle. Oh! Okay, Okay. Okay, court record. Okay, Sinopus. Practical applications. Yes, practical applications. Practical applications. It's written here on the practical applications, I think. Oh, really? Go on. Well, think about it. You wouldn't know how the poison can be drunk without taking effect? Dang it! Ah. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay, so it wasn't practical applications. But wait a minute, a blowpipe dart. The bullet of the gun could be laced with poison. That's why there was no exit wound. Okay. Court record. Yes, special characteristics. Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this QRA poison. and it left me curious about something. Well, it sounds as though the indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of their arrows as they shoot the prey while they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes, and the poison out of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean that they would have traces of poison left in the hunter's prey the hunter was going to eat? Yes, good point. Surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. I actually found the answer to that conundrum. Research paper here. On the special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after the effect after the body through the wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, that mentions a particular detail that means strange to me, though. It all makes sense when you interpret it what's written like this. When the KRA enters a body through an open wound, it has a terrifying poison effect, however. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects at all, whatsoever. Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew QRA's special characteristics, and you knew that you can make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion. Well, you know, see, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer? Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how... So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he reads in a book. But I'm afraid this knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Flaw? Even for your brain to manage to deduce TRA is safe to ingest, it is likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh yes, well, of course, gastric suckers. What are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah, that's right. Good gracious. That's a basic science. Science that even a school by like should be able to understand. Ugh! Geez, she's starting to tick me off. The logic holds that the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would have been affected the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this QRA poison is completely irrelevant on the case on the trial. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something simple as that. Huh. Okay, everybody, it looks like this is gonna be it for today's live stream. Yeah.